In the 1800s, China was under the rule of the Qing dynasty. At this time, China should have been powerful. But in reality, it was collapsing slowly. The population had exploded from around 150 million to over 400 million people. But food production didn't keep up. That meant one thing: widespread poverty. Farmers were starving. Taxes were rising. Corruption was everywhere. And on top of that, China had just been humiliated by foreign powers after the First Opium War. The Qing government looked weak, and the people were losing faith. In a small village in southern China, a boy named Hong Xiuquan was born. He wasn't a warrior, he wasn't royalty, he was just a poor farmer's son. But he had one dream: to pass the imperial exams. Those exams were everything. Pass them, and you could become a government official. Fail, and you remained nobody. Hong failed, not once, not twice, but multiple times. Each failure crushed him more, until one day he broke. After another failed attempt, Hong suffered a complete mental collapse. He became violently ill. He fell into a fever, and during that fever, he had visions. In his visions, Hong claimed he was taken to heaven. There, he saw a divine father figure and an older brother. The figures told him something shocking: that he had a mission to destroy demons on earth. Years later, Hong came across Christian teachings, and suddenly, everything clicked in his mind. He believed the father he saw was God, and the brother was Jesus Christ, which meant one thing: Hong believed he was the younger brother of Jesus. This belief didn't stay private. Hong began preaching. He created a new ideology, part Christianity, part his own interpretation. He preached equality, no private property, no corruption. Men and women were to be equal. Opium, alcohol, and gambling were banned. To the suffering poor, this sounded like salvation. People joined him, thousands, then tens of thousands. This movement became known as the Taiping Heavenly Kingdom, and Hong gave himself a title, the Heavenly King. At first, the Qing government ignored them. That was a mistake, because by the early 1850s, this was no longer just a religious group. It was an army. The Taiping forces were highly disciplined. Men and women served separately. Strict rules controlled behavior. Anyone who broke them could be executed. And then they started winning. City after city fell. Qing forces, corrupt and poorly trained, couldn't stop them. Then came the turning point. In 1853, the Taiping army captured one of China's most important cities, Nanjing. What followed was brutal. Qing soldiers and supporters were slaughtered. Some estimates say tens of thousands were killed. After taking the city, Hong declared it the capital of his new kingdom. He renamed it the Heavenly Capital. At this moment, China was effectively split in two. The Qing still ruled the north, but the Taiping controlled huge parts of the south. Now here's where everything begins to fall apart. Hong Xiuquan stopped leading actively. Instead of commanding armies, he locked himself inside his palace. He claimed he was communicating with God. Meanwhile, his top generals began fighting each other. Power struggles, jealousy, suspicion. Then came one of the darkest moments, the Tianjin incident. Leaders within the Taiping turned on each other. Thousands were killed by their own side. Generals executed generals. Allies slaughtered allies. The movement was destroying itself from within. While the Taiping weakened, the Qing regrouped. They created new, more effective armies. One of the key figures was Zheng Guofan. Unlike the old corrupt forces, his army was disciplined and loyal. Step by step, they began taking back territory, And this time, they didn't just defeat cities, they destroyed them. Entire populations were wiped out. This wasn't a normal war. This was total destruction. Villages burned, cities emptied, civilians massacred. Historians estimate that between 20 to 30 million people died. That makes it one of the deadliest conflicts in human history, even more than most wars people talk about today. By the 1860s, the Taiping were collapsing. Food ran out, supplies were gone, and the Qing army closed in on Nanjing. Inside the city, things were desperate. Hong Xiuquan refused to flee. Instead, he claimed that God would provide. He reportedly ate wild plants, believing they were divine food, but they were poisonous. In 1864, Hong Xiuquan died. Some say illness, some say poisoning. Either way, the heavenly king was gone. Shortly after his death, Qing forces stormed Nanjing. The city fell. What followed was complete annihilation. Mass executions, burning of the city, no mercy. The rebellion was over. The Taiping Rebellion wasn't just a war. It was what happens when desperation meets belief. Belief becomes power, and power loses control. One man's vision led to the deaths of millions